Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Full Throttle Remastered. So, it does turn out that after looking at the walkthroughs that what I was doing was right. The only thing I might want to consider here is if I can find this car crash. There is one thing I can do right now. Let's not stand here. We are gonna have to go in the loop and fight a few more people. Now there, to my knowledge, isn't actually anything here in that area, so nothing to really focus on this. The only thing here is I'm looking for the car crash, and I may accidentally hit A to exit to what isn't actually the car crash. Let's see, I don't see what this is. So I just drove through that, and this is the car crash. So we haven't been to this scene before. There's one car with two squares, and at least this time it's actually highlighting. Let's go look at the hovercraft. You have to start to wonder, why do you need a roads if you have hovercrafts? Alright, so there's a fender and a hovercraft, and that's it. So let's see.
I'm not putting my lips on that.
Punch.
Don't touch anything without wheels.
Kick. So, fender now.
Now there's one thing I've never needed. I'm not putting my lips on that. I don't touch anything without wheels. No.
So, we know it's not any of those. We have all these weapons. Although, it's not really cycling. So, if I have a fifth item, I don't know what it is. And in here we have... What did I just pick up? Oh, I see. What is this? Looks like a fan. Does it work with our car? Is this the hover component to our bike? I guess it is.
Looks okay for an aftermarket part. Man, that's a good looking bike.
So that's one part completed and collected. And whatever part we got is all we needed. So there's a couple of people that you want to fight to get everything, and I guess I do want to try and get everything since we're close enough. I don't want to take the exit that stops. I want to take the mine road. Now, if you actually crashed here, I think that would mess up some of the orders in which you run into these random people. But for the most part, these random people are just kind of random. So, this guy, the trick here is you don't want to get too close. You want to wait till he sticks his head up and then attack. And you just kind of want to barely have it to be barely close enough to do that. And smack him in the back of the head. And now we have these goggles, which we could equip at any time, but I'm not quite ready for that yet. So there's guys like this that like, there are variations of these characters, and some of them have things that you can use, and some of them don't. So I got a chain there, and it didn't bother to tell me that I collected the chain. And you can't attack or use your weapons. Oh, that is not what I wanted for a second. So I'm gonna see if I can cancel out on that. Buttons still labeled incorrectly for somebody playing on a PC with an Xbox One controller. So there's a red-headed lady, and I know we attacked one lady, but she's gonna bring out a chainsaw. And that was not actually the red-headed lady that brings out the chainsaw, I don't believe. And the optional achievement here is to get the chainsaw from her. Meanwhile, we'll get this from him with the chain. And
should have a couple of good boosts left in it.
So now we've got a boost. But we can continue to do this. So the last weapon to collect is the chainsaw from the red-headed lady, which hopefully it won't cycle too much for me have to work with that. Let's see.
Eat this, Charlie. Now, this time.
And if you pick the wrong weapon to begin with, you're gonna fail. And if you just try to use your fists. Now I've heard that you can just hit Shift V. The Shift V does some kind of action that would automatically succeed.
I could have used. I hate Polecats. Eat this, Charlie. Freaky humble. Now I'm mad.
Another one down. And they want you to use the fertilizer on the chainsaw lady. That's the only weapon left. And there's a decent chance that you'll just lose all these weapons. And this is kind of a waste of time. Let's see. Let's see. This might be a little too much. Might just be a little too much work to be worth it. And see, these guys are fighting with random weapons. This is what it would have looked like before. The graphics certainly don't look good by today's standards, but by those standards, this is actual, like, big effort CGI 3D that we're seeing here. Although, I think that's kind of the problem with this game, is that at some point in the development, I heavily suspect it wasn't going to be a point-and-click adventure. It was an attempt at doing something very different. And see, this is the lady.
How about this chopper?
So there's the redheaded lady from the main game. And let's see if we can pull out the chainsaw. Alright, time to equip the goggles. So, I assume the trick here is to go where it tells me to go. And we can see the dots on the road flickering, and there's nothing really special about that. So I'm just gonna hit A to exit. And now what?
Alright, I've modified my bike enough, but I'm stuck until I find that ramp.
And inventory wise, we've got everything. Let's see, this with this.
I don't think that's how they're used.
Let's use this with the bike and see if maybe I need to get back on the main road to find the secret entrance.
I don't think that's how they're used.
So we're gonna go down the main road this time and put on the bikes. The goggles. Take the exit. Take the exit. Take the exit. Stop. Not at the car crash. Stop maybe here? I could see maybe grabbing some fertilizer in case I needed some more.
I've touched it enough.
So much of a menu here. And there's plenty of room now for more. Let's see.
I don't think that's how they're used.
We've certainly hit a point where this game is kind of wasting the player's time. You know, not being as obvious as it should be. It must be somewhere on this part of the road. And there's a number at the top. And it's telling us something. We don't really have control right now. Though we're not driving. We're not really driving the motorcycle. In fact, my hand is off the controller. And it's just following the central dots. So let's just go in a circle and see if we end up finding something. That was where it was at 0. And now the number's climbing higher. Certainly not seeing anything. That doesn't seem like that's the right path. And then it seems like the number on top just just climbs up to an alphanumeric of FF in hexadecimal and then goes back to 0. So maybe the idea here is I just need to look and see if the exit they're pointing me towards is a highway exit or if it's some kind of other exit. Oh, that was the cave. Apparently. So, just look in the lower left-hand corner, apparently. That's all you need to do. This says exit. Yep. Long and boring after we'd already run through this loop several times. They certainly should have had these had something happen in between the 2 points. Something that kept it varied and interesting. The point of riding the mine road to fight people, which should have probably just happened on the regular road throughout the whole game. And the point we're in now where we're just riding this. That's not the cave. And if I'm recalling correctly, not that I remember too much of the game at this point, I think I may very well just sneak in the cave, steal the ramp, and be done. And then we'll be into the final part of the game, the third act. This game really impresses you with its style and its slightly odd story. You know, you don't have a lot of games about biker guys, particularly in point-and-click adventure form. But when you actually play it after that first act, you've hit kind of the pinnacle of entertainment that you're gonna have. This should be the cave pretty quick. Right there. It's right next to an exit. And it's not like I saw anything that told me that. It's just that's what the goggles were telling me. And so these cave dwellers, we can highlight images. Interesting, look here. There is more animation in the old version with water dripping than there is with the old animation. With the new animation. That's kind of pathetic. It really goes to show that there's not enough care put into this remaster, which kind of makes sense. Like, again, dripping water just being removed. Maybe that's to make the game more of an experience or something, I don't know. Like, easier to figure out the solution because maybe the dripping water was a distraction. I don't know. So we've got this fortress. Let's look at this fortress. I don't think you go in the fortress. I think you just take the ramp and leave.
About these guys is creepy.
And see more room for a prequel or an explanation of how this world works.
Don't think I'm getting in there.
It's a shielded thing.
Don't think I'm getting in there.
Alright, well, let's look at the ramp.
Property of the Ricky Myron Traveling Stunt Show.
So, we're not going to talk to it.
I'm not putting my lips on that.
So we just take the ramp. And I believe because I used the ramp and it clipped one of these reflective dots. I believe that changed the pattern, so it's going to cause the cave dwellers to crash.
No.
But just use the bike.
No.
Well, apparently I can't kick the bike anymore, which is odd because I definitely didn't attach it to the motorcycle.
I'd better get out of here. I'd better get out of here.
No, I don't want to
I'd better
leave.
Get out of here.
Seriously?
I don't spelunk.
Come on. Get back on your bike and go back to the ramp. Seriously, game. Okay, now I can go back. And now it's not complaining. And the ramp is back where it was. So this time we'll push it with the old graphics and see if it flings some reflective turtles. See, it does flick one up. And the goal here was to attach it to the car, to the motorcycle. Now I'll drive off. I guess I missed a step there. And there might be a little bit more of a puzzle here. Maybe not. So they're chasing after me.
Where'd he go? And who was he? My brothers, we have been visited by a spirit. The spirit of Ricky Myron, come to reclaim his ram. Why did he leave it here? He can't use it because he is a spirit. He is only expressing his anger, which we must honor. Oh, angry spirit of Ricky Myron, we honor your rage. But for now, the ramp must go back.
So, a long wrap up of this cutscene to just put us back in our motorcycle. Alright. So we've got to get it to this next scene and then use it so that they will shoot themselves off the edge and blow themselves up or drive into the abyss. A little bit of a puzzle. There's nothing really here that I can think of that inherently says you would have had to done the other two parts of the puzzle to get the hover bike and the booster before this. You would have just had to get the goggles, which there's a decent chance you would have gotten the hover bike and booster before then. Right. So now what I need to do is push the ramp and use it to chip off all of the dots. And we get to watch from their perspective now, them following the dots and just crashing. And the game just cutscenes you that.
I'm done with these boys.
So we've got the ramp in place.
Property of the Ricky Myron Traveling Stunt Show.
We've got
Looks good where it is.
everything we need. We've got a bunch of weapons. So I think it might just completely cutscene us as we use the bike. It may, otherwise we're just going to drive all the way back to the mink farm and be done with this section. You can tell there's, I suppose technically on this road there was 5 locations in kind of a linear area. Maybe even 6 or 7 locations, depending if you consider the mine road in its own separate location. Compared to the number of scenes in the previous game that were less linear and a little bit more logical, I would say, because of it. So I'm just going to drive on this side of the road all the way back. I don't think there's a boost or anything. You just want to drive through the fertilizer and just continue to let it go. All the way to the beginning. To this mink farm, which the mink ranch, you know, that was a wasted thing. Really wasted to have this location and not have more scenes, not have more of a puzzle, not really even have a reason for the mink ranch to exist at all, other than it's just a location. We drive through that, and we can either hit the dots or not, and this should just work, I'm hoping. It doesn't seem like there's a button to activate the boost or anything like that. Going straight down the road, not really gaining any speed, so the whole point of all this seems kind of silly. Oh, you know what I was supposed to do? I was supposed to just drive here.
Alright, I've modified my bike enough.
So, yep, I didn't think that through at all. It was just going to show me a cutscene in which it did the thing I just did. Playing the rock music. Using the hover bike capability. Pretty cool way to end your second act, particularly for a biker. I mean, I don't know what else you could really want for a biker game. I suppose if you were going to make a game that appealed to bikers, you'd probably want more bikes and like legitimate parts, like you would make a car racing game full of famous and expensive cars that most people couldn't afford. That would be my general idea on what to do for something like that. But and get the music they like and get the attitude down, which sort of they did, sort of they didn't. Well, it's been another 30 minutes. We spent a significant amount of that time just trying to get the chainsaw, and I need to now go back and double check to see if there are any other optional achievements that I've missed. We're at 55% completed. We would say that more than likely this was the chainsaw lady. However, I still don't know if we're gonna see a green ponytailed character. This says that there's new art. I'm still not seeing anything here that looks like new art. Unless I am skipping some numbers. Oh, I am. Like 81 to 95. Okay, I see what they're doing. So it's terribly useless to try to look at the unlockables concept art until you've just played the whole game and unlocked everything, because it's just a terrible system. We're seeing more bits of music playing, however it's still quite a lot for this last third of the game, and I really must admit I do not recall for a second what this last section of the game is. I know that there's like one or two things you're gonna do, but that's kind of it. Well, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description. If you want to support me, give me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.